Hi, welcome to a lesson in the power of economic tomfoolery. If you remember a couple years ago, the YouTube algorithm blessed us with a plethora of photoshopped game footage. Yes, the anti-piracy video wave, where someone tapes a game, probably from like 10 years ago or more, and puts a creative spin on it, most resulting in giving some kids a heart attack. Now, why do people like this kind of video? I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, but you know what I do know? The genesis of Photoshop. Not really, but as I'm sure most of us realize, the majority of videos in this trend were mock-ups. Really? But here's the fun part. Some of them aren't. I'm not gonna waste your time, so I'm just gonna speedrun the well-known anti-piracy measures in games. Old LucasArts games had this weird system where you had to move a wheel and answer questions. The DK Country games had to arrest the Kongs for their crimes. Except for the first one that just has this blue screen. And Spire 3 makes you clinically ill. But that's not what we're here to talk about, is it? The trend of fake anti-piracy measures in games started around October of 2020, which I refuse to believe was over 2 years ago, with Mario Party DS, as all things start with Mario Party DS. Ever since then, there's been tons of people doing their own spin on the formula, but most of them fall under the same spooky-ass umbrella. A lot of the popular videos in this trend make the anti-piracy measures themselves look more like a creepypasta. They go out of their way to add content designed to make people piss themselves. The vast majority of these real anti-piracies don't do. This is probably because copy protection is intended to keep goofballs off their software without coughing up their salary, and, just not give people nightmare fuel. But for the sake of community discussion, and also content, let's dive into the great world of what-ifs. Keep in mind, this is all my opinion, and my opinion is just my opinion. So don't be a jerk in Jeremiah in the comment section with a college thesis on why I'm wrong about a slight oversight. That being said,
this video will not continue when connected to an unauthorized video playback device. Please refer to your instruction booklet for more information. Piracy is a serious crime. If you receive this message in error, please restart your video. Your computer will now restart.
See what I did there? Because it started the whole trend, let's kick off this tomfoolery with Mario Party DS and then go backwards a bit. I don't really want to make this a 4-hour long video, so let's just say it invented the monstrosity of spooky anti-piracy screens. So, the Mario Party DS releases in 2007, and people don't bat an eye until someone discovers piracy exists, and finds the anti-piracy measures included in the game's files. This draws massive controversy for Nintendo, and it even gets reported on the news, because they love to make kids games seem like they're turning children into monsters. Thankfully, that kind of video game press doesn't exist in our timeline, right? After it gets reported, there's a bunch of people that get super angry at Hudson Soft and Nintendo for putting in the anti-piracy measures, but it does scare off the pirates, so Nintendo enforces a policy to include copy protection measures designed to scare the player. And because this alternate universe has Nintendo actually care about their old library, they re-release their classic games that people actually want to play in a better format that isn't just emulation. Again, this is a what-if scenario. However, these versions include new anti-piracy measures. With Nintendo getting the ball rolling on tons of anti-piracy technology, this causes way more sales and revenue headings to the corporation's pockets. Other companies see how this method affects product success, so they implement it too. Now that everything after the late 2000s uses anti-piracy measures, crackers have a lot more motivation to take apart copy protection from tons of games. Of course, this happened before, but we're not going to focus on that. Now, game companies are getting hit with tons of revenue losses now that their cracks are being super popular. So, what do these heartless corporations do? They call their lawyer. Nintendo, being Nintendo, starts to file lawsuits against the developers of these cracks to make an example. Other people start trying to circumvent their copy protection, but now everyone's at risk, and the same companies threaten to sue people who use these pirated copies. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Because of the spooky tactics that companies are now pulling on the people who don't follow the rules, they also start to go after people who make mod chips on their consoles to prevent copy protection from happening at all, which is exactly what happened in our timeline too. Since the gaming industry has turned into an absolute nightmare for pirates, the amount of copies sold in the market goes up super high. We don't have massive groups of people working together to make cracks anymore, as they don't want to go under fire by billion-dollar corporations. With so much success coming from making people piss themselves at the sight of Wario berating them for their crimes, they want to make even more money by making games, but not by actually creating experiences people want. They just pump out games fast that no one wants. Combined with even higher software prices, a ton of shovelware and low-quality titles keep hitting store shelves, and people stop buying them. And do you know what happened the last time people stopped buying games due to a lack of quality? So, yeah, the games industry starts failing since people are realizing how little these companies care, but this drives indie game developers to make games that don't have features that leech everyone into buying $90 firewood substitutes. And so people buying indie games instead that promote consumer-friendly practices by people who actually care about making fun experiences through the medium. Because happy endings are always realistic at the entertainment business, let's say that the big boys have a redemption arc and stop slapping people for making cracks in their titles. So, what's the message of the story? Like, what's the whole point of this? If you remember, I keep up bringing Nintendo in this video. And as a person who's pretty fond of the company, I bring my 3DS everywhere to find a Street Pass in the year of our Lord 2023. This is really just a complaint of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze being $60 9 years after its release, disguised as a video. What's up, nerds? Welcome to the end screen. This video is a bit rushed since I kinda just make my videos in one day and I was a bit worried they wouldn't be released on time, but hopefully it did, so. This is my first month of making this weekly video essay series, and it's been pretty successful. Like, the Half-Life video made 20k views somehow. Also, sorry if my voice is a bit raspy in this video. I had a bit of a rough week. So, thank you. It's been a lot of fun making this shit. Bye.